Yo, what it do, St. Louis? It is 7 a.m. on Tuesday morning, so y'all know what time it is. It's time
No time.
for the St. Louis Hustle podcast with yours truly, Cortez Hustle, and my lovely co-host, Michelle. Hey, and man, do we have a wonder-filled show for you this morning? We got a very special guest, Mollie Peterson, is going to talk about designing your brand. And I know some of you guys are like, I ain't even in no business, Cortez, but guess what? You still got a brand. If I ask 9 out of 10 people to tell me about you and they say you're a jerk, guess what? That's your brand. So
Great example.
You guys comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand for a free business shout out, and make sure you smash that share button, people. So let's get into it.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the St. Louis Hustle podcast. It is that time of morning, Michelle, and because we got a very special guest, I won't ask you how your weekend was. You can kind of just tell us throughout the show.
You don't want to know.
Because I'm sure it was wild as usual. But let's go ahead and run through the COVID numbers this morning real quick.
Yeah, sure. Our numbers for this week are Missouri's at 494, so just a slight increase. Is working, y'all. And Illinois is at 1.13, and instead of being up a lot, they up a little because they was at 111. Right, so they're only up a little.
We see y'all, Illini.
We slowing down. We're slowing down. Next week, though, I will be starting to cover the vaccine numbers since we're kind of shifting. We'll cover so we can see some of the parallel in that. So there you go.
Gotcha. So the COVID numbers seem like they are not increasing as much, which is a great thing. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand. We love to give you a free business shout out. We see Integrity Wealth Solutions is always jumping on my guy from Louisiana. Hey, listen, what we're going to do today is we're just going to introduce our special guest. Because you guys know this part of this show is all about the movers and shakers in the St. Louis metro area. Yes. And when I say mover and shaker, this young lady is the epitome of mover and shaker. And she's helping entrepreneurs such as myself and others really understand the power of building and crafting and designing your brand. Like I said, everybody is a brand, whether they know it or not. Most people just are not intentionally designing the brand to say what they want that brand to say. And Mollie Peterson is one that can help you craft that message and design that brand. So I'm going to introduce to some and present to others, Madam Mollie Peterson. Good morning, Mollie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We are ecstatic to have you because one of the things that I am absolutely passionate about is entrepreneurship and helping entrepreneurs win, especially small businesses. We've seen what COVID has done to a lot of our small businesses, and some of them were not positioned to pivot. And I believe in large part because of a lack of proper brand positioning. So first, tell everybody who Mollie Peterson is and what it is that you do and specialize in.
Absolutely. So my name's Mollie and my business is Second House Creative. I started it last year and I had worked in nonprofits for some corporate brands over the past few years, different marketing agencies. And as a social media manager and a graphic designer for these different places where I was working, I started to notice that the social media trends that, we were using and that we were working with our clients on, I felt like I was personally a little bit ahead of the curve. There was more that I wanted to do with social media. I saw how quick the industry moves. I mean, it's never ending. There's new apps, there's new trends, new strategies every week. And I felt like I was kind of in a box at some of these places I was working. So that's kind of how Second House Creative was born. I wanted to be a part of the process and be a part of the strategy, the creative process, and then the implementation, which I was really missing out on, being just kind of a number in the line of, project managers, something that I was designing something that I was really proud of, and I was excited to push it on social media, but it gets handed off to project manager 1, 2, 3, 4, account manager, and so on. So I really wanted to work more one-on-one with clients and have the freedom to build a social media strategy for them, because I saw the potential of, everyone's on social media, first off. And secondly, it's free to get going. So there's an opportunity there that I really wanted to be able to help more people on. And like you said, in terms of building a brand, that's the beauty of social media, that we all have the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. So you were, there's nothing like handing off your baby and have someone not execute it properly. Like, man, you put the picture on her upside down. Come on, man.
Exactly. And I consider myself like an extroverted graphic designer. So it would just kill me to put together something and then not be able to help implement it and get it rolling and get it out there and help these different clients and small business owners and personal brands, like yourselves. That's huge. So I love seeing the whole process through and helping out however I can.
Gotcha. So we're going to hear a lot more from Mollie here in a second. So go ahead and comment in the chat. If you got questions from the premier of premier brand designers, then drop your question. You're getting some free game here. And it's not even free game Fridays, Michelle. We're getting free game on Tuesday from Mollie. And so drop your questions about building, designing, and developing your brand. But before we bring you more of that, Michelle has got something special cooked up for y'all. So hit them with the A word of the day.
A, okay. I see I'm so torn right now because with so much awesome information that you just gave. Mollie, you just took out my first 5 questions. So thanks. Thanks, girl. I'm grateful. Thank you. I was like, she's off and going. So the A word of the day, because there's so much I want to jump into with this. I'm like, put the A word, forget the A word of the day, girl. Let's talk. So the A word of the day for today is grateful, right? So I'm really grateful that, Mollie, you shared so much information. But when you think about being grateful, people instantly think about gratitude, or hopefully you should. Someone does something nice for you, you receive something unexpected. Hopefully you do so gratefully. But I want to challenge most people just with this word of the day to take grateful beyond just being grateful or being thankful when you receive something, right? I want to challenge people to be grateful as a stance in life, right? So I found, and I've kind of studied, that when people approach life with more gratitude, even for the small things, right, that we tend to be happier, we tend to have more peace, and it gives us a different leverage in life that probably the average person doesn't have, just simply because our perspective on life is way different than the norm. So the challenge, let's be grateful, but take it beyond. Don't wait till you get something from somebody to be grateful. Mollie, thank you for that information. I'm grateful. However, my attitude when I get cut off in traffic, when somebody says something that I don't like, I'm going to try to find gratitude, even in the things that maybe make me uncomfortable or unhappy. I'm going to try to find gratitude in maybe some of those things, because it could always be worse, people. It could always be worse. So again, that's my challenge for everyone. That's the A word of the day. A, be grateful, y'all.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, Michelle.
Love it.
I did a segment called the 1 Minute Motivation on yesterday's show, and it was, excuse me, the whole video was about the one thing that we absolutely have control over, which is our choice. We could choose how to see something, how to feel about something. And I try to do that, Michelle, is, hey, man,
takes practice.
You cut me off, you joker, but
right.
You didn't clip my front end and send me
there
into
it
a
is.
spin, and now I'm facing oncoming traffic.
There it is.
So there's
there
always something to be grateful
Absolutely.
for. So let's get back to designing our brands, Mollie. So first of all, you designed your own brand. Where did Second House Creative come from, the name? When you were sitting down saying, hey, I'm about to jump out here, do my own thing. I got the skill set. I've got the experience. Listen, I got the know-how, man. I need to be able to do this thing my way. Then, of course, you have to come up with a name and taglines and that kind of stuff. So where did the Second House Creative name come from? What does that mean to you?
Right. So marketing yourself is a whole nother animal that I was not totally prepared for. You know, you're used to marketing for other people and you're confident about the message you're putting out for them. And then when it came down to marketing myself, it's like, well, okay, I got to take a step back. So Second House Creative versus my name, I felt like I could maybe grow with it a little bit more and it could have some branches down the line. So I got married in 2019 and my maiden name is actually Rittenhouse. And I'm the second child of, I have two sisters, older sister and a younger sister. And I was trying to somehow keep a name element because I do like it when you have a name element in your business or your personal brand. And so second is for second child of my family, and house was kind of a way for me to hold on to Rittenhouse. So, and I threw creative on the end because that's how I would identify my business, a creative studio, so to say.
Oh, so second born, house from the main name, and now, of course, you're creative and you're creating brands for everybody. I know Michelle's got some questions for you, even though you knocked out her first 5. She's got
I got more. I have more.
Bring them on.
So the fact that you said you are an extroverted creative person, because most creative people that I've met that do graphic design, they're introverts.
The artist persona.
Yes. Okay. And they're like, let me stay in the box. I don't want to do anything different. Just don't talk to me. Don't make eye contact.
I'm going to sit on my computer and keep my headphones on. And
exactly. It's like,
not
don't
move
look at
for
me.
6 hours. Yeah.
So that's exciting for me because as I am a person who is moving out and I'm working on, developing a brand and all that, what would you say would be the number one thing that a person should consider? I've made this decision to step up into the light. What should be the first thing I should consider when building my brand?
I mean, definitely not losing sight of your personal element. If, everything that we're talking about is definitely in relation to personal brands and small businesses. We're not talking about the big guys and corporate brands. So if you're building a brand that it's a one-woman show, like you are, like I am, you are an element of it and you have to own that. If I were to scroll on my Instagram as an outsider and it would take me forever to see a picture of myself, like that kind of looks odd to me. If I come across a profile and I'm like, is there a human behind this brand? You need to have that personal element. So that's what I would say to really stick to and not lose sight of.
Do you think people, Cortez, I've had a lot of questions. Do you think people can go overboard? Okay, because I may or may not have been known as the selfie queen. And where you go through my timeline, it's like cheese. So can people overdo it with selfies or, and trying to get people to know their face?
I mean, to a certain extent, I would say if you almost get to a point where you're like, maybe that was one too many selfies for that week. You know, maybe then you take
no.
a step back, because I feel like maybe if you think that, then odds are maybe somebody else does too, but you're
You can never
already
have
ahead
enough
of the curve.
selfies.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, you can schedule them for later. If you take 5 good ones that one day, spread it out, save some for next week.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you're ahead of the curve if you're posting about the personal element, because so many people don't. So, I mean, I would think own it and run with it. But yeah, I mean, if you feel like you need to take a step back, and, you know, that's where graphics can come into play, and that's where audio can come into play, and inviting other people, and, you know, breaking up the heavy personal element by introducing other people into your brand.
Yeah, I love that you said
that makes sense.
Mollie, because as personal branding goes, I think sometimes we try to make it too much business, right? Yes, you want people to know that you are in business, you have products and services to sell, you have something to offer. But in this, and tell me if you're thinking along the same lines, in this reality TV world, people more now than ever before wants to be in the business of the person behind the brand, right? They want to see the behind the scenes of, what do you guys do before the show, Cortez? What do you guys do after the show? How did you actually get Mollie to agree to come on the show, right? They want to see that kind of stuff as well. And I feel that a lot of entrepreneurs are, because that is usually the ugly side of entrepreneurship, they're trying to hide it, but that's what people want, right?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people I hear say, well, the other parts of my business are just boring, or why would anybody care about that? And that's because you're falling into the trap of thinking that you can market to everyone. Yeah, everyone doesn't want to see what I do. You know, I can't sell to everyone, but there's a niche community that I can build online and in my local community that, you know, will want to see what I'm putting out. So, you know, I feel like, if, you know, odds are your business is not boring like you say it is. People want to get to know you, build the relationship, see what about that makes you you. And like you said, how you get to this point, you know, what was it like before? What's it like after?
Yeah, I often say the reason a lot of entrepreneurs don't have anybody in their business, as in shopping in their business, is because they won't let anybody in their business, right? Yeah, let people in your business. People are nosy. Yeah, let them in your business.
Yes.
Give them something to relate to, and that's what all businesses are, relationship businesses, right? So if you don't give me something to relate to, we don't relate. Therefore, we never build a relationship, and I'll never get to the place where I will buy from you. So shout out to Corey Brown is in the building. Hello, Corey. If you have any questions for Mollie, and I think one thing that we do also kind of relegate personal branding to is business and entrepreneurship. But you can build a brand around a cause. You can build a brand around, I mean, every person has a brand, right? Talk about the difference between branding from a business perspective and just, hey, I want people to know me personally and the type of person I am. You could use some of these same social media platforms to just brand your own personality, even if you don't have a product or service to sell, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely, the element of building personal brand. I mean, influencers are huge. That's the direction that social media is going to keep going this year, with personal brands developing into influencers and partnering with brands. And then, I mean, then you have the small business aspect, and you can break down the content that you're sharing into different categories. Maybe you've heard that concept, and, you know, you think about what are my values, what are my interests, what am I actually selling? Because you do have to, you know, you do want people to know how they can work with you, but, you know, you have to filter in the other engaging content, educational content, value-packed content throughout.
Right. Yeah. And I love that. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I was just going to say, so I was reading, I've you know, been to your site, and really nice site.
Thank you.
I went to your site, I was checking out your page, and you made a very, very interesting comment in regards to oh my God, piqued my interest so much about people when they do post still photos, right? Because just reality
Look at that.
we're getting free advertising, right? Social media is like we no longer have to pay. Well, we should, but we don't have to pay for advertising. And so you the comment you made was if you just are posting still photos, you gotta do some video. And I was the queen of the mannequin challenge. I was like, I'm gonna be real still, just look at these pictures and keep scrolling. And that really spoke to me. It really jumped out to me how you talked about the leverage of still photo and video and how that enhances what you do. Expound a little bit more on that, on just the difference between the two and what more you gain by doing both.
Right. There's definitely a place for both. There's a place for professional photography. If you have a friend or you want to hire someone to take some professional photos for, say, your website, but then you've got the really authentic selfies like we talked about, but then video puts you one step ahead of somebody else who's doing something similar to you, who's not doing any video at all. That's why TikTok saw insane amounts of growth last year, because everybody's at home and everybody's just endlessly scrolling, and we want those quick bits of content. We're used to instant gratification as a society. And we just want the quickest way to learn and the quickest way to be entertained, and video brings your brand to life, and it's uncomfortable. You have to get uncomfortable, or you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, is the saying that I love. It's
absolutely.
I was nervous getting on this morning, and I love public speaking. Video is so different. Video is different, but you just got to roll with it, and nobody cares as much as you feel like you're judging yourself. Nobody else is judging you as much as you judge yourself. So just gotta do it.
Yeah, I so agree. It is. I always say that the root cause of fear is so crazy to me when you really think about it, right? The root cause of fear is not what other people think about us. The real root cause of fear is what we think other people are thinking about us.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, people got so much going on in their lives, they ain't thinking about you.
Right. They do not care.
At all.
Not thinking about you. But I will not do a video because, like, a few years ago, I lost a tooth in the front, right? And I was like, man, how am I gonna get up and do my show on video and be all snaggle-faced, right? First thing I thought is, what are people going to think about? They were thinking about me and my missing teeth. So I did have to get up and just overcome it, and I just did it. And I see, I work with a lot of very talented people, Mollie, and they are scared to death of video. And I'm like, first of all,
number one, everybody is.
Video is the gift that keeps on giving. I literally have leads coming to me from videos I did 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
You're all over the place. You rock video. You got it down.
You may not want to get up every morning and do a morning show, but by golly, you could set aside a Saturday and get you 3 or 4 outfits together and say, hey, I'm going to do 10 videos on these different topics, and I'm not going to get in front of a camera again for the rest of the year. And those 10 videos could be used and strategically placed all throughout the year, right? So we got to take a quick break, Mollie, but on the other side, I want you to think about this. One of those talented people that I work with who's afraid of video is right there. Right. And she's got so much to offer. So I want to I'm going to put you on the spot, Mollie. I want you to help Michelle A. craft a brand for herself. She's funny. She does hosting and she loves media. So if we are going to build a personal brand around her, maybe, getting 3 or 4 hosting. We're going to pretend COVID is not happening and people are still doing events.
That'd be great.
Right. And that's kind of what she does. So think about crafting the brand, and we're going to take a quick commercial break. And on the other side,
Okay.
I have Mollie build a brand for Michelle live right here on the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. Live right here.
Oh,
Hey, good morning, wealth champions. Hey, listen, if you want to be financially successful, then you have to do what financially successful people do. And I know there's a few things that all wealthy people have in common. Number one, they understand that building wealth is a team sport. Number two, they understand the power of capitalism and business enterprise. Number three, they love to use systems and leverage. And number four, they all have mentors. My name is H. Cortez, also known as Financial Health Mentor. And for the last 5 years, I've been helping hardworking Americans get all of these things in place with one single membership. If you want to learn more about that, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com. Again, that's myperfectmoneyplan.com. And you're going to get a team of professionals, so you're not building wealth by yourself. You're going to get a system that's going to help you transform your finances. And last but not least, you're going to get some great mentorship to help you execute your game plan. So again, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I am your host, Cortez Hustle. That is my co-host, Michelle A. And we have the lovely Mollie Peterson hanging out with us today from Second House Creative. And we put Mollie on the spot a little bit. And I know you got some proprietary stuff, Mollie, so you don't have to go all the way there. But if you were just kind of assessing Michelle, she's talented, former comedian. She knows almost everybody in St. Louis, right? And she is funny as all get out. And now she's thinking about, okay, I want to build a brand as a social media influencer that will maybe lead to some, emceeing gigs and some hosting gigs and that kind of stuff. Where would you start with, Michelle?
A couple minutes ago, I talked a little bit about breaking things down into categories. It's social media and building a brand online is overwhelming when you're like, where do I start? So there's about three or four categories that I like to break everything down into that are general, and then you kind of plug and chug your way through it. You want to be entertaining, which it seems like that you've got that down. So we've got to build entertaining content, and entertaining content also ties to relatable content. You've got to put the content out there that make people go, how did she know that that's exactly how I was feeling? Or, she just told a story that I really, really relate to. Like she's in my head. How did that happen? We've all had that happen before. You're feeling and you're like, man, I really resonated with that. Wow. And it can be funny. It can be emotional. It can be, there's all different ways it could go. Educational content is huge. Social media gets overwhelming when you don't have an intention and you realize that you've been scrolling for hours and hours laying in your bed at night. And if you can teach somebody something, that's huge. There's a lot of things that you're the expert in that you could teach other people on, and it's not going to be boring if somebody's taking away value.
Right. Awesome.
And then again, sharing value, just different ways that you can build trust and gain loyalty, that you put out interesting topics and the things that you care about. Your audience will grow with you to care about those things as well. Usually your ideal customer is sometimes very similar to you. So unless you're promoting a business that is totally different or totally out of your wheelhouse. Usually your target audience is very similar to, or maybe how you were, a place that you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And you're relating to people. I was there. I know a situation that you're probably feeling right now. I've been there. This is how I got out of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I heard a guy say a few years back something that was very profound and really changed my perspective on social media and all of these different things. He said, there's more in what you know than what you do. And when I thought about that, I was like, wow, because there is only like I know how to hang a ceiling fan, right? And I don't care how proficient I get at hanging a ceiling fan. There's only so many ceiling fans I can hang in a day.
Right.
But I also know how to do that. So if I did a course or a tutorial video or a step-by-step e-guide that I sold for $7, $10, $15, there's no limit to the amount I can sell every day versus how many I can actually do. So I want Michelle to understand that she knows how to get booked for a gig as a comedian. Now, she's not doing comedy anymore herself, but could she create some sort of training manual, teach people how to get booked, right? Is that where we're on the same page, Mollie?
Right. I get what you mean. Yeah, there's, I mean, different, some things that I post on, I'm heavy on Instagram. I'm on Facebook too, familiar with both, but been hanging out on Instagram a lot over the last year. And, you know, sometimes I draw other social media managers and other graphic designers to my content, people that were made where I was a couple of years ago or out of college. And I end up finding myself not only helping other small business owners, but some people come to me with graphic design questions who are trying to learn as a graphic designer. So I definitely feel that you could be sharing things about being how you've made a past career out of successful comedy gigs and things like that. If that's where you're going, that's definitely an area that you could be sharing about, is helping other people who were maybe where you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I think you can attract people to you, but then you can also help people in a sense of your path, of your journey, and how you made it to where you are. You know, mentoring almost.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I was just thinking
kind of
that.
What I mean.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Because that's what I do. And oddly enough, even when I was doing stand-up, that's kind of what, like 90% of my content was real life, right? I just, God has an incredible sense of humor because all the jacked up stuff happens to be. So I'm like, that's great content. Keep it coming. No, I'm just kidding. So with that, is it recommended? Because there's so many different things. I have a corporate background as well. And there's so many things that I feel that I am somewhat gifted at. Is it wise to narrow it down as opposed to maybe having multiple? Like, do I want to narrow it down? Because my background is training. My background is, I have a little bit of experience with international travel and international training relating to people of other cultures, as well as leadership. You know, I build people for greatness, you know, and but then there's that side of me that absolutely adores entertainment and comedy and bringing that element of lightening the load, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes I feel like I'm literally all across the board.
Yeah.
Is it best to narrow down?
I mean, I would say that the entertaining aspect that you touched on last there would be something to carry through everything, because that's your personality, you know. That's how that's what's going to draw people to you in the first place. Is, she's really funny, I think I'm going to follow her. Or this video is funny that just came across my feed, I'm going to go follow her. And then in terms of why you're showing up online for your personal brand, for your potential business, I'd pick the one thing that you're the most passionate about and go hard with that. I know it can be hard, and then maybe expand. You know, like marketing, for example, there's a million different things that go on with marketing, you know, from web design to social media, copywriting, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, that was really hard for me to narrow in on, but I'm like, you know what? I love social media. I love design. They pair together. I'm going to go there. So maybe the one or two things that you're most passionate about, put as much energy as you can into those, and see how your audience and potential new followers react to it. If it sticks, then keep rolling. And if it seems like they maybe want something else, then switch it up. But you've got to give everything time. Social media is a slow game, but consistency is queen there. So,
you know what? It's so funny because that's what this guy always tells me. Shell takes time. Shell takes time. I want it now. It's my media, and I want it now. What you just told me, what my biggest takeaway of what you just said was pick your passion. So Yeah, I think I can do that because you're right. The funny kind of goes through everything I do.
Right. That's who you are.
Yeah, it's who I am. So I think, yeah, narrowing down that would be great. And the video tip, that is definitely something. It's weird. I can get on here, and I've been doing the show every week with Cortez. We're coming up on our year anniversary pretty soon. And when it comes to dropping an individual video, he just said it so poignantly. I get in my own head and I'm wondering, what are people thinking about me? And really, I'm really drawn for the both of you guys because the simple fact that you said most people are kind of like you. They're kind of like we are. They watch a video and they go, wow, that hit me. Well, whoa, I didn't know that, because I do that all the time. I watch someone and I'm like, that was good. I'm going to follow them, and those people are just being themselves. So that's two great nuggets from you guys. Because, I've just corporate America. I'm the closer I get to 50, the more I'm acting like I'm 20. And I don't know that corporate America can continue to handle that. So I got to do something. I got to do something. So
yeah,
awesome.
And Laura says, Michelle, I feel the same way. I have interest in so many things. I must narrow my passions down. And I was sharing with a coaching client just yesterday that in the narrowing down, we feel like we're going to be cutting a part of ourselves off, but really not, because what you're going to do is develop in this one area. So for me, I started out my social media journey, Mollie, as a financial educator, right? But because I was so passionate about that message and I wanted it to get across, and I didn't have a whole lot of money to invest in a Mollie Peterson, right? I had to go on YouTube and learn all of these skills to expand my message, right? And it was in me pursuing that initial passion that I gained skill sets that I am now almost more known for, maybe equally known for, as my branding and my marketing and the digital marketing side of what I do. Because when people saw that I built the Financial Health Mentor brand, then people started saying, well, how did you build that brand? Hey, I don't need you to tell me about your money, man. Tell me how you built the business.
I want to do that.
And now that opened up other avenues for me, which overall my passion is entrepreneurship in general. But I started teaching people why entrepreneurship in America just makes good sense, because hey, America is business. If you don't have a business in America, you might as well be a foreigner in your own country. And people hate when I say that, but it's true. America was built for business people, by business people. And if you don't have a business, then taxes are going to eat you up. And so I started teaching that stuff. But when I really wanted more and more people to get that message, I had to figure out, how do I best use social media? And I like to say, man, I got about 14 degrees from YouTube University, Mollie. I'm real.
There's so much out there. I think that's there's so much information out there for us to consume. So, you pick your avenues of, this is what I'm going to learn from. I'm going to learn from YouTube. You chose YouTube, and you dedicated time to learn, and now here you are. So
he's got his doctorate.
Niching down isn't a bad deal. I see that you have a free guide that you are offering.
Talk
a little bit about that free guide and how it could help a person trying to build a personal brand, but also a small business owner. And we're going to talk more about our small business folks as well.
Okay, so asking my followers and my audience different questions over the past couple months, I was trying to get a handle on what people need, what do people want, what will benefit people the most right off the bat. And one of the number one things that I hear on social media in general is, I don't know what to post. I don't understand how I can post all these different things to build relationships. I just don't even know where to start. So I developed a 3-page guide that you can download on my website. It's full of about 30 different content prompts. So they're generic, so they can fit really any small business or personal brand. And it includes different things like how you manage your mental health and why that's important, or, share insight from a recent article or a book you just read.
Nice.
Explain the benefits of working with you, what sets you apart. So it's an easy kind of way to get inspiration. You can print it off, hang it up on your vision board in front of your desk, keep it on your phone. But it's just a guide to help you kind of figure out, okay, what else can I post? Because people get so hung up on, I don't know what to share. So that's why I created it.
Yeah, that would be one of her. It's somebody who is as creative in her thought process. I'm like, there's no way you don't have something to say every minute of every day. But again, it goes back to what I'm thinking other people are thinking about what I'm getting ready to say. So I'm not going to say anything, right?
Whew,
and documenting is a huge term that's being thrown around all over Instagram and Facebook right now. Is think more about just documenting your day to day. Don't create something out of nothing. You've got tons of wisdom, knowledge, entertaining stuff to share up here. So think about documenting instead of just creating out of nothing. What are you doing today? What are you doing this week? And share that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Live documenting. Yeah.
And somebody who can make anything funny, anything. I'm like, why aren't you just say that in the way that you would tell it to me? Just record it, or
we back on me. So, we back on me again. I thought this is about Mollie. This is not about me.
Intervention, if you didn't know.
Where's the exit? Oh my, I was just like, you sound like, is he talking about me?
This is an ambush intervention. Mollie knew. I cued her in when I. That's why I brought Mollie on.
You lying. But you know what though? See, I'm fight you, right? I'm catch you in the street, and it's on. And man, because I'm sitting here, and he knows me well enough to know what's going. And these are things. What you're saying are things that he has told me just synonymously, just like shell, and where two or three are gathered. So it's really landing and it's really hitting, and I do have so many more questions. I know we want to talk a little bit more about small business. However, this again, what you guys just said about the documenting and considering it to be the video can be considered documentation, right? And that's such an interesting take, because if you think about it, the average American has kids, they have a job, they got parents. There's so much to talk about. I can do 30 minutes alone on my daddy. So that's so interesting. And I see now that I probably overanalyze the process. Cortez. I probably overanalyze, and it's one of those things. Gosh darn it, y'all got me. I'm super excited though. I'm super excited. I'm sorry. So we're gonna stay on track. Back to small business. So I know Cortez, that's your arena, because I don't think of what I do yet as a business, although I do want to get into that. But I think I almost need my personal brand to go before me. I guess I do have a question. Does that make sense? Getting my personal brand to go before me in this particular area, before tackling the small business. And then I only have one more question about branding, like when you want to adapt a sponsor, how to get their attention, how people, they back stuff on Instagram, or they get them to, you get free stuff basically from companies because you promote or do something with their brand. That's probably an underlying question for me, but yeah, 2 questions.
Tackle that as an influencer who doesn't have their own product, but they don't realize that they are the product. The amount of followers that you have, that is the product, because people want to tap into your list, right? People forget that Facebook bought Instagram, right? But do you for 1 second think that Mark Zuckerberg and his team could not have built an Instagram in a couple days? It's coding. They got some of the best coders in the world. No, what did they really buy? They bought the $500 million customer that Instagram had. They bought that list. So
Yeah.
when you build a list on social media, a following, then that is a product, right, Mollie?
Definitely. And, you know, it just like what you had said about, you know, if you don't have a product to sell or you don't have some sort of sponsorship now, well, we use stuff every day. So what's something, you know, that, you know, this morning I've got my coffee, I've got my Mac set up, you know, there's different things that are brand related that you do throughout your day. You've got stuff to share that people would find interesting. I mean, I shared off food that I got at the grocery store yesterday because there's, you know, I cooking is something else that I love. I don't share about it all the time. It's more of a hobby, but I just went through a couple different things of I've been loving this lately. I mean, I don't sell any of those products, but you know, sharing different things throughout your day that, you know, people might find useful. And then it gets you practice if you're trying to eventually get brand sponsorships and, you know, go the influencer route, then it gets you practice of, okay, this is how you sell a product without selling a product. You know, you show it.
Gotcha.
Or, you know, you show how to use it. So just day-to-day things that you're already using, share about that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. And as we transition into the small business arena, I think one of the things that do you have any insight from based on working with your clients why the small business owner is so reluctant to embrace social media? It seems like that's what I'm getting the sense of. And I think because COVID kind of helped them see what they should have been doing 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And a lot of them did pivot, but any sense as to why they are reluctant to embrace social media?
I think it's two things, and sometimes it's a combo. I think sometimes it's considered an afterthought. They just haven't caught up with the times, maybe, of just realizing that your social media nowadays, I mean, really is almost as important as your website for most businesses, because social media is becoming its own Google. I mean, Instagram has started to introduce keywords to where, you know, and restaurants in particular, like I'm a big foodie. Whether it's here or, you know, pre-COVID when we actually went places that weren't, you know, 20 minutes away.
Right.
I always go to Instagram. I check out a restaurant's Instagram or Facebook page, because what that tells me is, you know, first off, if people have tagged photos, for example, you know, one of my favorite places local in St. Louis that I still haven't gone yet, but I've been dying to go, is Oliver Coffee Bar. She's all over Instagram. She installed a big flower wall at the entrance to her coffee shop. And guess what everybody does when they come in to get a coffee? They take their picture in front of this beautiful flower wall. And you go to her Instagram page and it is just blown up with all of these people taking pictures with their coffee. So, you know, simple things like that people, when they're at your location, they want to take a picture, or you build up that personal element of your business that makes people want to support you in times of struggle. And that was the biggest thing that I noticed too. Like you said, when COVID hit and business just shut down, the businesses that kept rolling, you know, as much as they could with the circumstances were people that the community, you know, rallied behind. And we're going to keep supporting them because, you know, I know the owner, or, you know, they care so much about their employees and they're trying to stay open. And I love what they do. There's a local bakery here that we support so much, and they are so active on their social media just with simple stuff. I mean, they don't have a photographer, they don't have a social media manager even. They post about what's going on that day. Come in for this special, or, you know, we're giving free oatmeal for kids at the beginning of the pandemic because schools were shut down, and we're going to give free lunches to kids. Stuff like that just makes you go, I'm going to support them over this other business that, you know, they're not doing much right now. They're not embracing it. So I think embracing it and just rolling with it is huge.
Super nice.
Yeah. And it is, you know, a lot of, you're right. A lot of those businesses just did not have the presence, and you could tell that because they didn't have the presence, it appeared that they were scrambling when they realized they needed to develop the presence, and it was not authentic. And,
wow, that's good.
The importance of being your authentic self across social.
And, it was funny to me because like my husband isn't on social media, and he'd go to a website to see, okay, is this restaurant open? Can I get carry out? And nobody was updating their websites. Everybody was updating their Facebook page. You know what I mean? So he's like, can you check this restaurant and see if they're open? Their Facebook was flooded with updates. You go to their website, well, nobody's updating their website, but they know how to update their Facebook page. So that's where people are. You got to communicate with your people, and they're on social media. So you've got to hang out there too as a business owner.
Love it, love it, love it. And then on being your authentic self, right? I think there's so much fake persona-ism, right? Did I just make up a word?
Yes, you did.
There's so much.
That's that doctorate coming to use.
There's so much fake persona out there, and I don't think people realize that. No, it's your authentic self. What comes from the heart speaks to the heart, and the people that, because you're not going to be able to keep up that fake persona first and foremost,
and people will notice,
and people will know. But then, when you are your genuine self, sharing real life stories, that's what people relate to, right? So you got to be authentic on these platforms. I got one more question. It looks like Michelle is chomping at the bit, but I want to know from you, because when people hire you, they're doing this, but I want you to talk from your own personal perspective. How important is mentorship and business, especially going down this path and this road of trying to understand and learn social media? Talk about the importance of mentors in your life.
Absolutely. Last year, I kind of joked that last year was my year of listening to podcasts. I binged so many podcasts. We were painting the outside of our house, and it was like I threw my AirPods in and I just listened to podcasts all day. And I heard something in this podcast that it's one of my favorite podcasts. It's Amy Porterfield, Online Marketing. Have nothing to do with her, but highly recommend it. And she pointed out that, choose one or two people to learn from. There's so much information out there. From here, grab it from there. And you're just overwhelmed because you're like, I have all these different plans and people telling me to do all of these different things. Well, I'm never going to do any of them, because if you look at a list of 50 things, where do you start? If you do a little bit of every 50 thing, you're never going to get anything done. But if you listen to one or two people and choose your path of who you're going to, kind of be a mentor under, you're more likely to get to that end point. If that makes sense. I felt like when I narrowed in on this is who I'm going to listen to and this is who I'm going to take advice from, I feel like I skyrocketed my approach. I felt like I got things done that I wanted to get done because I chose one person to listen to who's been where I am, and they're 10 steps ahead of me now. So they're able to say, this is what you need to be doing, and let me help you with this, and here's some advice for this. And you take the advice of somebody who's been where you are, and they're doing bigger things now, and they want to get you there too.
Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Michelle A.
Oh man. So, okay. Where are we at? We're approaching the top of the hour. So here's my question. With everything that has been developed in social media over, I'd say even just the last 10 years, where do you see social media 10 years from now?
So it's quick, it's fast. There's so much going on. Going into this year, I'm like, this is the year for video. I mean, more than ever.
Yeah.
Clubhouse has been my new obsession over last week. If you guys are familiar with it, we can talk about it when we're done, because I could go on forever
Team
about
Android
Clubhouse.
over here, Mollie. Team Android over here. Sorry.
Well, they're hoping it'll
seriously,
move on.
Got me getting ready to go buy iPad like this week.
What? So, okay, so I'm on the outside looking in. What is Clubhouse?
Right. In its most simple form, it is audio only. It is the future of conferencing, the future of networking, the future of picking people's brains and Q&A. That'll be interesting over the next 5 years to see how quickly that develops and transforms. I think Instagram's here to stay. I think TikTok's here to stay. Facebook groups are huge right now. So the community aspect, I mean, social media started as a place for community, and then it got kind of crazy. And we had, especially the last 4 years, we had way too much craziness, and hopefully we're on track to bringing it back to that sense of community. So I feel like I continue to see the combination of business and personal brands and individuals on social media all working together to spread positivity. And as a business owner, it's your job to control your own news feed and put positivity out there.
Nice.
So
yeah,
awesome.
I love, that's why I love social media, and I love the branding aspect, because you control your narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can dictate the amount, because we all know that it only takes a little bit of negativity to wipe away a bunch of positivity, right? But since we know that ratio, that means I can choose to put out 50 times more positive images about myself, my brand, my message, and the things that I'm trying to get across, compared to the one troll who's in my social media feeds, in my downline, and all that stuff, talking about this guy can't do this, don't trust this guy, whatever. That's okay. You got your one little comment off, but watch this. I got a flood of testimonials that I'm about to put up. And
there it is.
right. So, Mollie, it is the top of the hour, and this is, it's the saddest part of the show, because we got to go, right? But before we go, really quickly, Laura says, what do you think about referral business? I'm always sharing folks' business. Laura, I will tell you one word or two words: affiliate marketing, right? Or if I said one word, it would be prosumer. I typically don't buy a product, especially in the online world where there's not an affiliate option, right? Because today everybody offers an affiliate option, meaning instead of me going directly to Amazon, I can create an affiliate account with Amazon. They will give me a link specific to me. Now, when I shop at Amazon, I click on my own link and I shop, and they give me 10%, 15% back based on whatever the affiliate commission is for that particular product. So, Laura, if you are always sharing other people's businesses, ask those people, hey, do you have an affiliate program with your business? If so, how do I sign up? What's the requirements? Now, when you share that person's business and somebody buys based on your recommendation, you can earn a few dollars. So that would be my take on the referral business, because I am in the referral business. That's part of, 80% of the products and services that I share are other people's products through referral, and then 20% are my actual own products and services. So, Mollie, tell them how they can get the free guide that will prompt them on some things they can comment on and post on, and then give us your last thoughts, takeaways, anything you want the folks to know before we get out of here.
Okay, so secondhousecreative.com is one of the easiest ways. Following me on Instagram or Facebook, same name, Second House Creative, and you can download the guide right at the top of my website. You'll see a little bar graphic that says you can download it. So social media strategy management is what I love, in addition to the actual design aspect of your brand. And I love to merge the two, because you've got to look good when you're showing up online, and you've got to have amazing strategy. So that's what I love. I love to share tips and tricks online and connect with people and collaborate. And I would just end it on just to always remember that social media is meant to be fun. It's meant to be entertaining. So, keep it lighthearted and keep it personal, keep it authentic. I think authentic is probably the word that we should all keep going toward for this year for our own social media strategy. So keep it authentic.
Awesome. Michelle, last word?
This has been amazing and fun and great. And I am grateful. There it is. I'm grateful to have shared. Cortez, I'm always learning from you. Mollie, you definitely added in something to give me a different perspective. We speak the same language, so I'll probably be reaching out to you as well on some key things, just some partnerships. So be grateful, people. That's what I got for y'all.
Thank you all. It was fun.
Say what I started out with, ladies and gentlemen. You are a brand right now. Chances are you're not intentionally designing that brand, right? How do you want people to see you is what you have to answer for yourself. Yeah. What are your values?
Absolutely.
What do you believe? What are the things you're passionate about, interested in? How do you want to impact the world? You can design how you're going to move forward on social media and share those things with the world. That is your brand. Whether you're selling a product or not, you are a brand. Now, the entrepreneur and the hustler in me says, since you're going to be out there sharing all of that stuff, listen to your followers, because they will tell you what they want to buy from you. Just listen to them. Hey, Cortez, if you had that, I would actually buy that from you. Okay, well, let me go develop it. Right? So you already are a brand, so be intentional about the design. Catch up with Mollie Peterson. She can help you with that design aspect of your business as well. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate all of you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us.
Yes.
Until we talk to you next time, we want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it. Each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.